Go Ellsworth, brought to you by these proud community sponsors. Anita Hoffines, Dr. Mark Herzog,
Welcome to Ellsworth Connections. This is our monthly business Did You Know section. And today we are out at the Ellsworth Correctional Facility with Chaplain Bailey. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
And we're going to talk about some of the things that the prison does for Ellsworth that maybe you didn't know. So you want to tell me a little bit about the history of the prison?
Sure. Ellsworth Correctional Facility opened in 1988. And so we've been here since then, and then the Spiritual Life Center in here opened in August of 2004.
And the Spiritual Life Center was built on private donations, public funds. How did it get built?
The Spiritual Life Center was built completely with private donations. There are no tax dollars in this building. Inmates did do the labor, however, the donations for the materials were raised by private foundations, corporations, individuals, and churches.
And what's some of the things that are done with the Spiritual Life Center?
The Spiritual Life Center is really the center of life inside Ellsworth Correctional Facility. In this building, we help men prepare themselves for life. It's also coordinated with a lot of other programmings that we're starting to coordinate with now, is some of the re-entry programs. Barton Community College is involved. And we have a lot of life skills type classes. We're connecting with the Salvation Army now to provide some re-entry programming, substance abuse teaching and curriculum, fatherhood, parenting initiatives. But the neat thing about the Spiritual Life Center and working with Salvation Army is we're not only impacting the men's lives here and preparing them for life, the Salvation Army is going to be reaching out to the families of these inmates and helping prepare them for life as well. Oh,
that's spectacular. I taught in a school in Inner Phoenix, and a majority of our parents, either mom or dad, were in prison at the time. And the family suffers so much when one of the members of the family is in prison. And that would be great to be able to reach them also.
Yes, it's amazing how many families are impacted by somebody being incarcerated. And those are often what they say the forgotten victims, or the families and the children of those that are incarcerated. And so to connect with the Salvation Army and be able to reach out with them and offer them life skill type classes, it's just a huge bonus. You know, 97% of all incarcerated adults here in the state of Kansas will one day return home. And so it helps to prepare the man or the woman that will return home, as well as the family and the community, and garner a support group around that person when they do return home.
Well, and our goal is to make them productive citizens.
Exactly, productive, law-abiding citizens. Yes.
I mean, we don't want to see them again. We don't want them in here again. We would like them to be able to go out and build a life from here.
Exactly.
Yes, they made a mistake, but they're, you know, so that's wonderful. Yeah. Now, what are some of the things that the Spiritual Life Center does for the community?
For the community, we reach out to the community. We have a ministry team that we travel across the state of Kansas. We visit churches, colleges, schools. In fact, we recently went up to Ottawa Middle School in Franklin County, Kansas, and spoke to the whole 6th grade class. We had 2 inmates that we took up there, and they gave their testimony, their life story, and then shared with the children, you know, how they can prevent following their footsteps. And then they took a lot of questions from the children and answered those, and it was really neat to see. And now the Ottawa Middle School has invited us back to do the 7th grade and the 8th grade, as well as we have a couple other schools now wanting us to come out. So that's one great way we've been reaching out lately.
As a retired educator, that really is a service that you do to those kids, because they think, you know, they see some of the things that maybe people that are not quite following the letter of the law are doing on the outside, and how they are, you know, benefiting, or however you want to say it. And they think, oh, that's cool, maybe I could do that. But to see the other side and see what happens, because consequences are a big deal. You know, and that's one of the things as a teacher I felt, you know, I didn't punish children, there wasn't punishments, but there were consequences. You had choices.
That's right.
And that was the big deal. So that's
exactly
great.
right.
Now, there is one thing that you do, I know I've been to, it's your theater program that you put on. And last year was my first year to visit, and it was spectacular. You had a couple of inmates that should be on stage when they get out because they were spectacular. Are you going to do that this year? What is the idea of the program? When is it?
Yes, we are. We're looking at the end of April, just like every year. We'll do another play, dinner theater. It's going to be The Taming of Judge Roy Bean, and another comedy. That works best.
It does, it does.
So the guys are already excited for it. They've already started building the set, and they're preparing some of the, you know, the props and everything is being prepared right now. So we're excited about that. We also do our choir. We have a band in here, and it is actually their detail, their job. They come over every day and work in the choir and practice their music. And we do a Christmas concert. We're going to be doing that December 8th this year.
Oh, spectacular.
And it'll be open to the public, to registered guests, and they can come in and enjoy a nice Christmas concert. So.
Perfect. I will put that on the schedule.
Great.
What are some of the things that the inmates can do here to prepare themselves? I know you're doing the education part, but there's also some other things that that you have going at the prison, right?
Sure. Well, there's a spiritual aspect, you know, to life, and they find out here in the Spiritual Life Center the education with either the high school equivalency diploma or Barton County offers college classes. There are also VOTEC schools. They learn to weld, and they can take industrial management classes and be able to go out and work in a factory. But then life skills, they work on substance abuse. They can help them obtain part of their driver's license where they take the written exam, and then when they leave, they can just go take the driving exam. And then Social Security card, you know, birth certificate, and they can work on those items. So.
Great. The Ellsworth Community Correctional Facility also does a lot for the community. I know that, you know, you talked about the inmate labor doing this. I know that they also helped with our child care center, and we couldn't have done a lot of things without that help.
Yes.
And I know that right now the chamber is working through them to get some tourist
brochure stands.
Correct. Done, so that we can sort of extend some of the stuff I do in the office. Now you have some plans for the Spiritual Life Center.
Yes, we do. We've proposed an expansion up in Topeka now, and it will be up to the legislature to approve that or not. And those plans are to centralize everything within Ellsworth Correctional Facility. We want to bring all the education in here, the counseling, the mental health, the life skills re-entry classes, and all those, and Salvation Army, everything would be combined right here in the Spiritual Life Center. It's about a 40,000 square foot expansion on the backside, and so it'll quadruple, I guess, what we have now. So.
Now, will that expand your ability to serve the inmates? I mean, will you have more programs because of that space, or will it just sort of like centralize everything and put it all in one place so that they all come to the same place?
It will allow us to expand some of those programs and offer more programs to the inmates who are required to take some programs. But the main focus of that is to centralize everything, where you have all the staff in one area working on this same inmate. And so, you know, you have your parole office re-entry people in there, you have your education people, you have your chaplains in there, you have your counselors in there, even a general population library. Everything is centralized. And so that's the benefit of it, is a village can help that inmate change his life.
And it, you know, I compare everything to education because that's where I come from.
Sure.
But when you have multiple teachers, to have that group meet and talk about that one student and be able to share, hey, did you notice this? Or am I just seeing things type thing? Or, you know, he's doing really well here, maybe we should expand it here. Are just, I mean, that's invaluable to
It is invaluable. And you know,
their growth.
Yeah. Together with doing that inside for the inmate, and also reaching out to the family to help them change their life, as well as the way Spiritual Life Center and Ellsworth Correctional reaches out to communities and makes connections in the communities through employers, educators, city people, councilmen. When you bring all that together, it's just going to really help this person succeed when they leave a correctional facility.
Spectacular. Well, good luck.
Well, thank you.
Because if I have to vote for it, I will vote for it. Now, there is a community outreach program here for the families, and that's going to be part of our Community Connections segment, and that's the Family Connections, which is across the street from the prison, and it's a place for families to stay at a discounted rate.
Yes.
So that they can visit their family members.
Yes, Family Connections located across the street have several rooms with beds in them, and area churches have each taken a room and donated and fixed up that room. They've kind of sponsored that room, and so it's a pretty nice place for the families, and they can come up on the weekends and visit their incarcerated loved one in here and stay overnight there at the facility. You don't rent a room over there. The families would pay for a bed, and so they can stay there all night. And usually it's a lot of ladies that get together, and there's a central kitchen area, living room type area where they can all, unite and bond that way as well. So.
Well, it is good for the families to be able to get together with other families. Sometimes, if you're the only one in your area, it's a little hard to deal with and to know, and those connections really help. I know that I've had a couple of calls at the chamber, and that's been a great resource to be able to give to families. Is there any plans to expand that at all, or?
I've not heard of those plans as of yet.
So that's something. That's something we as a town should think about, because that would be great. I know that our church got a grant for $1,000 this year, or $500 this year, and so we helped with some of the air conditioning or something out there. Yeah. So, but it's a great resource, not only for our town, but something you could help with. Anything else you'd like us to know about?
Well, I just want to thank the community for the way they sponsor Ellsworth Correctional Facility as well. It's a neat connection here in Ellsworth with the support we have from the community, the area employers that are willing to hire inmates. And these are employers, and they're not taking jobs from the community. They're having a hard time finding qualified welders and qualified workers. And so it's really a tremendous help for them. But when this inmate is working a private industry job, he is now paying room and board to the Kansas Department of Corrections, as well as taking care of past child support, fines, restitutions. He has a mandatory savings account. And so that's just really going to help him and his family all the way along this journey of incarceration. Well,
and it gives him an experience to take with him when he leaves.
Exactly, yes.
I know that you talked about not being able to find qualified people. We have many, many jobs in Ellsworth, from part-time, help at Mosaic, to full-time at Molly Manufacturing, where they're still looking for people, that we, just about everybody that's qualified and wants a job in Ellsworth has a job. And so we really are looking for people who would like to move here and like to have a job, because we do. We have a lot of.
Yes, we do. We are blessed here in Ellsworth.
We truly are. Well, I'd like to thank you very much, Chaplain Bailey.
Thank you.
And this has been the Ellsworth Connection with the Chaplain Bailey at the Ellsworth Correctional Facility.
Go Ellsworth, brought to you by these proud community sponsors. Anita Hoffines, Dr. Mark Herzog,